The hardest part about heartbreak isn't losing them, it's realizing that you completely lost yourself in the process. And in today's dating world, so many of us are focused on chasing attention that we forgot what actual love feels like. But here's the truth. Your heartbreaks are not the end of anything, it's just the beginning of your healing journeys. So the very first thing I want to touch on is why heartbreak feels like grief. You have to acknowledge that you created some type of emotional attachment to a person, place, or thing. So by nature, you're going to have to go through a grieving process. Your emotions are going to feel a little bit turbulent. Your days are going to be thrown off a little bit. And it's not necessarily because you yourself is doing anything wrong or anything's wrong with your day to day. You just need to give yourself enough time to let those emotions flow through you. It's like a processing period. You see, now a lot of people, they actually move on after relationships, but they don't actually heal. There is a very big difference between healing and moving on. A lot of people just go on to the next relationship. They just start courting the next person, talking to the next dude, next woman, whatever the case may be. And they try to find somebody who wasn't triggering them how the last one was, or somebody who made them feel better than the last one was. But they never actually take the time out to ask themselves, why in the world did I end up in this situation? Addressing the root cause of why you actually got yourself into certain predicaments will prevent you from doing it again. But if you're the type of person who thinks that you can go from relationship to relationship while not taking no level of accountability, solely using other people as emotional bondages and band-aids to heal the things that you decided you wanted to overlook, not only are you going to hurt a whole lot of other people because your traumas is going to leak onto them, but you're going to attract the same person that damaged you before, and you're going to end up with another ex, another body, another whatever the case may be. So you have to actually heal before you start moving on. Don't what's the word I'm looking for? Monkey branch? I think that's the word. Don't do that. Now, a lot of people start asking, why am I wanting closure so bad? Why can't I just can't get this off of my spirit? I need to talk to them. And the reason why you're seeking that closure is because you're trying to fill that gap. You're trying to fill that void. When you're in moments of isolation, you have the time to actually sit there and address what's empty, what's not full, and fill it appropriately. But in most cases, instead of us implementing a level of courage to actually look into self and adapt better habits, better ways of thinking, etc., we go outside and we look for them. We try to put them back into the hole to fill that situation, like, oh, their closure is going to make me whole again. No, you are whole already. There's nothing that they can say or do to you that's going to make you feel better. I promise you. Because at the end all be all, even if they told you something good about yourself, you're going to wonder, well, if all of that stuff was good, then why'd you still leave? You know, you're just setting yourself up for a whole lot of unnecessary introspection. It's completely different when you're sending yourself into a period of introspection versus allowing a foreign entity to send you into a period of introspection. Because why are they allowing that much control over you in your life? Damn, I just got deep. I don't know who that channel was for, what that was meant for, but somebody needed to hear that. Now, I've been saying this for the longest, and I'm going to say it again. Situationships are the biggest waste of time on the planet. While you're sitting there entertaining somebody who doesn't want you, there is somebody out there who would give you the world. And you know, situationships implement bad habits. Once you start getting used to just being on the market, talking to a whole bunch of people, dating, and just being in soulless relationships, you start implementing things that are counterproductive to getting a soulmate, because you're in the spirit of, I want to attract another lustful situation. You're not in the spirit of, I want to attract a wife. Your eyes aren't even over there. You're not in the spirit of, I want a husband out of this situation. Your eyes aren't even on those type of men, on those type of women. Your eyes is on something completely different. The moment you start saying, you know what, I'm dating to marry, which is crazy in this generation, especially if you're young watching these videos. If you on the other side of the screen is somebody young like me, 22, 23, we sound freaking ridiculous saying we want to date to marry in this time. But do you understand how intentful and how powerful of an energy that is, and how sacred of an energy that is? When you aren't just running around giving your body to any and everything, you allow yourself to be creative, you allow yourself to build, you allow yourself to have a level of clarity. Soul ties are a real thing. Usually when you connect with somebody on that level, you have a very hard time forgetting them. some type of trigger, something in life can bring back up that memory, which means that that person is always there with you. They're always going to be a part of you. So the more you get into these meaningless situationships, you're going to become a lot more stale and colder towards the person who's truly meant for you, because he or she is going to try interfering with you, getting to know you, step inside the relationship with you, and you're not going to allow them. They're going to be fighting energies that they aren't even physically there. That is a real thing. You guys be putting your partners and your prospective husbands and wives and stuff like that in spiritual warfare without even realizing it. When you got all these baggage and all these souls attached to you, when your husband or your wife comes into contact with you, they can sense that, and they don't know if that's your past or what's happening right now. And that type of confusion and that type of uncertainty, let alone, can send a pure spirit, can send your actual husband somewhere completely different, because he's sensing a different spirit out of you. Please be intentful. I know there's so many of my bros and homegirls out there who don't like feeling lonely. Nobody likes feeling lonely, so I completely understand the situation. But you have to understand, solitude is so powerful. You can hear yourself, you can see yourself, you can be yourself. Some of my best ideas came from solitude. When I got out of that 3-4 year relationship with a narcissist who literally sent me into the dirt, I wanted to kill myself after interacting with this person. I got sent into a period of solitude. When you are going through a depressive episode, what do they usually tell you? Do not be by yourself. Go seek friends. Go do all this other type of stuff. But when you're depressed and you're going through something, you don't even know who your real friends are. You don't know who you are not and are supposed to be around in that moment, because you didn't have so much stuff attached to you that you aren't seeing situations clearly. Getting to a point where I was by myself for months, almost years, not dating, not having sex. I mean, just journaling in my zone, trying to build my business, cutting things off, just really dedicating myself. That's where the most growth came. That's where the most evolution came. That's where the most clarity came. That's where I'm talking in the way I can talk. That's why I have the wisdom that I have. That's why all of these things are in motion. That's why my business started flourishing. Because after I went through an immense amount of heartbreak, y'all know how it feels to go through a narcissistic relationship. I poured it all into me, and it got me out the situation. Solitude is one of the most strongest and beautiful things that you can implement into your life, and I promise you, you will not regret it. When you're lonely, start asking, what can I be doing right now that would make me happy? Is there anything that I said I'm procrastinating on? Is there any goals? Is there any visions? Is there something simple, any YouTube videos that I want to go watch? Anything. Fill your time with fulfillment, with purpose, with joy. And then you'll start attracting better women. You'll start choosing better women, because crazy enough, it's never even this thing where you got to attract different women. You got to do all this other type of things because they were always around us. They were always in our vicinity. The only problem is that we were not at the conscious level to see those things. So we had to go in a period of solitude to detach our desires from our soul purpose and our soul connections, our flesh, our humanly pulls from our divine pulls. Those are two different things. And then when you're rooted in your flesh, no, those divine pulls just seem like boring. Just be like, it's just like second, it's like in the back of your head. You don't listen to it. Heartbreak cracks you open for transformation. The moment your ego gets hit with something that big, where you thought something was going to be a certain way and it wasn't, your whole life got completely flipped over. It makes you look at everything. Because if I was wrong over here, I might be wrong in other areas. That's why they say the most transformation for a lot of men and women come after heartbreaks. They had to go through something tremendous, because it shows you you're not always right. Once your reality gets shifted in a paradigm like that, it opens you up. It takes you out of the box. Heartbreak sometimes could be the most beneficial thing that happens to you, because it takes you out of the box. What else is there? If I wasn't seeing that, there's other things in my life that I may not see. There may be a business route that I don't see. There may be some friends I don't see. There may be some money I don't see. I don't know. There may be something you don't see. And that's the beautiful thing about heartbreak, because under all of that pain is so much growth. One of the biggest lessons a lot of people is going to have to learn in this lifetime is how to trust divine timing in their relationships. You can't rush certain things. You can't force certain things. If you actually wanted a godly relationship, a real loving relationship, that means you had to allow God to send those soul families, those soul tribes to you. And that means that these people walking down the street, these people may not be meant for you. And that means that you may have to be patient. That means you may not wake up tomorrow with the love of your life in your bed. Sorry. That means, oh, the person that you were going to marry, you knew them 5 years ago and they've been your friend this whole time, but it wasn't time for you to even know that that person was a qualifying factor to be somebody who you could live with your whole life. You know, divine timing happens for a reason. You could have already met your spouse, your lover, whatever the case may be. They could be in a relationship. God forbid their relationship ends, and that was really your partner. I'm not, but praying that over anybody's relationship, but it's the truth of the situation. Divine timing is real. Sometimes your counterpart is going through something that they really just got to go through by themselves, and you can't do shit about it. God is sending them through a period. God is sending them into some type of healing journey so they can grow. And God doesn't want you there because collateral damage is a real thing. When you see these breakups happening, you think I'm losing something. Sometimes you could be gaining the most that you've ever gained in your life, because if God walks up to you and he's like, this person, I'm going to kind of ruin their life. I'm going to make things really difficult for them. I'm going to just give them a whole bunch of trauma. And if you're standing next to them, it's going to get to the point where you're going to have to suffer from the things that they're suffering from. If God is sending somebody into a journey, into a chapter where they're going to have to take some adversities, just by you standing next to them, just by you deciding I want to be next to you during this, you're going to have to deal with it too. Their problems just became your problems. Everything that they were dealing with, now you got to deal with just by association. So you have to really choose wisely whenever you're choosing to root yourself in something that's not yourself. I don't care if it's family, friends, a job. Root yourself in self first, and that's how you preserve self. And that's how you heal self. And that's how you start looking at life as opportunities and not losses, because things are constantly leaving. We think of it like air. You breathe in, you're taking it in, but instantly, right after that, you are forced to release it. You no longer have access to that oxygen that you breathed in a couple seconds ago. It turned into carbon dioxide. It changed. There's constant changes in this energy of receiving and letting go. The moment you allow that to happen, you start giving space for the things that's actually meant to stay there, and things that were just meant to come into your path as lessons, as journeys to show you something, to give you a helping hand. You will know when something is meant to be there your whole life. You want to know why? Because it's there your whole life. With that being said, I love you guys. I love you guys. I love you guys. I'm going to see you guys in the next video, man. Peace.